When you thought that demons couldn't get any better, they were like, you know what? We should actually make a holy relic for Zeldris. That's a good idea. Let me just read you off what the relic does if you're unaware. Actually, let's click my cards here first. And then we'll do that. So, for every debuff, I clicked. For every debuff on the enemy, increases demon ally basic stats by 3%, up to 5 times. Meaning here, I'm using Green Sauriel Link on Zeldris, so his debuff card applies 6 debuffs that maxes out. And 1 card giving my allies 15% attack, essentially. And increases his damage dealt by 4% for each debuff, up to 20. So, really, it's not on paper the hugest thing, but you gotta like think about, we're using already Estarossa, which is buffing our basic stats by up to 50%, and then on top of that, Zeldris is coming in with an extra, so we have only 2 debuffs on the enemies because he cleansed, and we're already at 31,000 attack here on ungeared. So let's do this, and then that will kill him. Oh, I actually wanted to go for Estarossa there, but this is gonna increase melee's attack a little bit more even. Yep. Just 60 ungeared. And then without the attack buff as well. Zeldris' own damage increase could be decent for his ultimate, I feel like. Every time I've had in the past to rely on Zeldris' ultimate, it hasn't been that often, right? That I have to rely on Zeldris' ultimate. But whenever I do, it's not the best. It's really not. Maybe, you know, now if I have the opportunity to debuff them first and then ult with him, I could potentially get 1 or 2 kills on the enemy field. Let's see his damage here. It's gonna be a little skewed because I am gonna be attacking an encroached enemy, but I don't care. It's Zeldris we're talking about, okay? You shouldn't expect greatness. No! I lost debuffs. Could have been higher if I had more attack. I didn't expect the source to kill, but in fairness, his attack is like super high with the darkness and the Zeldris relic, and it looks pretty cool. Maybe there is like a costume that will match the relic better. But I'm just wanting the default. I like the default costume because it's like assault mode. Wish I could run the full assault boys. That's not. Shouldn't really say that. Full assault boys. That's shouldn't be a tagline. With assault melee as well, but obviously assault melee and Estarossa don't blend in together. Oh, almost like killed him there. Wow. Almost just killed him there. That's like what? I had 4 stacks of darkness, and then obviously the max Zeldris passive. So that's a bunch of basic stats coming in from these 2 units alone. Obviously as well, I have Zeldris in the front, which is already giving 12% attack related stats. And also, what's it called? Kusak, which is also giving basic stats. That is unfortunate. Never mind. Missed every crit. Because now he has a human, so Gaffer's not even giving him attack related stats. 3 debuffs on the enemy. Not the most, but let's actually do this right here. Let's see his damage on 3 ultimate gauge he has. But the debuffs on the enemies are not the most because Zeldris is the only character on the team that's actually debuffing. That's the one thing, right? Like, for this relic to work properly, it will never really work on the first hit. Like that initial turn where he does the debuff card, you will never see Zeldris do the most damage because he's not giving himself any of the buffs for the extra damage because it happens after the fact, right? The buffs that he gained from the Relic happened after the debuffs are already applied. So that first attack, he's not giving himself anything. And the other characters aren't debuffing either. So like the part that, you know, he increases his own damage, that's cool and all. And like I said, it could come in handy from time to time, just having it. But I don't think it's something that I will be going for, if that makes any sense. Whenever I'm playing with it, it will be just like an added bonus. The biggest thing to me is the 15% basic stats on top of Esterosa's stat increase. Wow, that was... Like, she was dead by half of the attack already. Wow. She was already dead halfway in. I should have expected that, I guess. Maybe I shouldn't put melee on the left. I usually put melee on the left because if I am facing another demon team and I get a level 2 single target, I can more confidently kill the melees in the enemy team, even if they have Chandler. But, you know, maybe with Zeldris I don't need that. I don't need it as much. Let's debuff them with this right here. And then single target. Obviously it's not a debuff card, but I have the green Sauriel link, so... Boom. That's maximum debuffs for the basic stats. I obviously wouldn't have done that if I was playing this normally. I probably would have AoE'd with melee. And maybe I would have actually, I don't know. My cards weren't the best for that situation. Well, Zeldris cards. I mean, you don't want to have Zeldris cards. Like, let's be honest. Even with the Relic, you still don't want to have more Zeldris cards than you have like melee cards, right? Melee is the DPS here, but when it happens, and you gotta make the most of it. I'll do this. That'll debuff him. Now melee can do extra damage as well because of his own passive. All works. All works. Okay, an unknown. Never mind. I actually really wanted to see if I could one-turn that Merlin, but sure. No. I finally found a real player. You know what? The second hit won't have a debuff, so you won't do extra damage, but I think it will still kill. Yep. If the enemy's debuffed, obviously melee does extra 40% damage. But when the character revives, they revive without any debuffs, which is definitely balanced, and it was great that they added that to the game when they did. It was fantastic. I actually love the fact that they decided that that was a good idea. In fact. Well, regardless of the Relic or not, I would, like always, if I have the opportunity when facing a Goddess team, because they're going to be cleansing and stuff, attack with Zeldris first to debuff, because I generally use Zeldris with Green Sauriel Link for this reason. So the fact that he's also giving basic stats is just honestly an added bonus. Like, the extra attack is just kind of nice and just part of it. And not like I needed it, but it's pretty nice to have it. Now that I spoke about what I think of what the Relic does, do I think people should be aiming to make it, given that it's made out of the new beast? Well, if you can beat floor 2, sure, right? If you are struggling to make relics for a new beast altogether, maybe you are someone that's been saving by doing floor 1. I don't know, man. This is one of those relics that instead of making a unit absolutely monstrous, it just took a unit that was already good and made it slightly better. And that slightly better on a unit that's already good can make a difference. But here's the thing, is it a difference that's going to be noticeable for the majority of players? I don't know. I don't... Honestly, I don't even think so. Okay. That is a tanky. Wow. He has Kusok in the back, not Zeldris. Right? I missed every crit with melee. He must have Kusok. and not Zeldris. So he was lowering my crit chance by 27%. Zestarossa also missed like about every crit hit, like 1 or 2, I think. Zestarossa hits crits. Like, I'll tell you that. Zestarossa hits crits. See, you know, I did have max Zeldris Relic right there, right? And I still didn't kill the Meliodas because he just so happened to be very, very tanky. Is there going to be a noticeable difference for the majority of players? I don't think so. I actually don't think so. Screw it. I'm just going to go with this. I actually don't think so. I think majority of players that would make this relic now are players that, you know, will feel a difference because they are already playing in the top, since they can actually make the relic right now. But in the future, oh, he has, bro, I just got super unlucky. Wow. He doesn't have Kusal. I just got super unlucky and I missed like about every crit. That's insane. But players who can't make it right now and would instead have to save to make the relic are not the kinds of players that I think will notice that difference, if that makes any sense. I think it makes sense. I think that the relics that most free-to-play players are always, you know, in need to make are the ones that transform a unit. You know, like the Bond Holy Relic. You know, when that came out, Bond was already fading off the meta, and then the relic was so obscenely good that he just came back, you know, that sort of thing. The Nanasha relic, right? A character that was very bad, and the relic was so good, he's like meta right now. Like those kinds of relics. And this character, Zeldris, is already meta. Like you're already going to be using him. And he's already good for what he does. Look at him. Speaking of the devil, right? People use the National Demon team. That's how good he is with this relic. Like that, those are the relics that free-to-play players that can't afford to make every relic should be aiming for, especially the new demons, or the relics that allow those players to actually go ahead and craft the rest of the relics, like Tonar's relic, Megalda's relic back in the day, those sorts of relics, right? Right now, for the new beast, there is no relic like that. You can say, oh, but the Freya relic, shut up. Freya relic is good for whales. If you're a whale, Freya's relic is good for you. If you're a free-to-play player, Freya's relic is not good for you. It's just, it's different, right? Freya's relic is not the equivalent to Megalda's relic. So, in that case, I think waiting for that relic is wise, unless you really like Zeldris. If you really like Zeldris, go ahead, because the relic is good. The character is good, the relic is good. It's not like you're making the one's relic, right? It's not like you're making a mistake of a relic that's actually not doing anything. This is doing something. It's just in the character is already good. So, yeah, that was Zeldris relic.